Hello, and welcome to a brand new episode of Geek-Minded Fools. My name's Graham.
And I'm Scott.
Scott, we are back.
We've had to come back.
Back, yes.
We have
had to come back. Obviously, we called it a day at the end of 2015 after 38 episodes.
Did we call it a day? Or did we just become lazy? Or let down?
You became lazy and let down. I called it a day.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like most of my relationships.
But then, the moment we turn our back on the world, 2016 has just been the biggest shower of shit.
It has. I don't know.
Modern memory.
I don't recall a year ever being like it.
No.
For people who have obviously listened to us before, might know that Graham's got a little bit of a skill.
Yes.
In dispatching people by just talking about them.
Indeed.
And my biggest fear here is that the fact that because we turned our back on 2016, we've pretty much dispatched 2016.
We fucked it.
We did fuck it.
We killed it. So we had Brexit, we had Trump.
Yeah.
President Trump.
Which sounds like something you'd do after you'd had a Brexit.
This is true. Your post-Brexit Trump.
And I want to be completely and utterly transparent and clear at the top of this. There's obviously going to be people listening to this who are pro-Brexit and pro-Trump. And I would just like to say right at the top of this that there's no malice intended in anything I say, but really, quite honestly, fuck you. You fucking morons. You fucking idiots. I even said this to my mother on the phone the other night. I am honestly fucking jaw-dropped by all of it. It
is just everything that could go wrong has gone wrong. And of course, the entire entertainment industry died as well.
Yeah. Which, obviously...
We killed the entertainment industry.
We did, by again turning our backs on 2016. And I can't say that I don't feel a slight pang of guilt.
I know, indeed. So, we felt maybe in some sort of recompense for this, we will come back and do a review of this terrible, terrible year.
And as amusing as this whole kind of intro may sound to all of you, bear in mind we don't make any money out of this shit. Okay, so we've not come back. We're not in it for the money. We've come back because we're genuinely going to try and save 2017. I think.
I mean, we missed it. We would ring each other up every 2 weeks and pretty much do this show over the phone.
Indeed.
By talking about all the stuff that we'd seen.
I mean, that and the countless dick pics you send me.
Well, obviously.
They are from you, right?
They aren't mine, but they're from me. Yes.
I didn't think I recognised it. And I wondered why the mole kept changing side.
The black one should have given it away.
Yes, indeed. Indeed. Especially since it had white balls. That was a door trapper. Anyway, I think we've done a suitable enough intro and apologised enough.
Absolutely.
On behalf of ourselves for fucking 2016 up. So maybe we should have a look and just dissect 2016 a little and see what the fuck happened.
So what we're going to do, we're going to look through all the stuff that we would normally have done shows on. So all the geek type TV shows, movies, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We're also going to look over your view on the video games of 2016.
Yeah.
My view on the best comics of 2016.
Yep.
And we're also going to do our little in memoriam bit that we always do, which is obviously going to be a fucking long one. It
is. That's going to be a whole episode on its own.
Indeed. So this will run for more than one episode. So those of us who have missed us will be glad that we're going to have quite a few episodes coming out. Those who haven't missed us, strap yourself in for some utter hell.
That's funny. It's funny you was because I was going to say strap yourself in, pricks. I mean, maybe that's not the way to kind of pull new listeners in.
Maybe not.
But fuck them.
But it's our way.
It's our way, and this is the tail end of 2016, so things can't go any fucking worse, can they?
Quite.
Right.
So we'll kick off with TVs and movies, and the first thing, pretty much, I mean, it was kind of end of 2015 into early 2016, but it was certainly early 2016 when the buzz really started. Was the Netflix show Making a Murderer?
Making a Murderer, indeed. I came to it quite late, I think, Making a Murderer.
Oh, really?
But
Oh,
really? But not as late as you came to it, I don't think. Because did you watch it straight off when it was on, or
no,
you didn't?
No,
know?
I didn't.
And I'm failing to remember, but did it come out at the same sort of time as the O.J. Simpson thing, or was that much later?
The O.J. thing was later.
Okay.
Yes.
And obviously we're going to look terrible now because we're not going to mention that at all during this show, I don't think. But then again, it's not so bad because O.J. Simpson and Cuba Gooding Jr. look fuck all alike. What were you thinking, you fucking idiots? Anyway, Making a Murderer. I'll let you explain what Making a Murderer was because your memory is much better than mine.
Making a Murderer was a 10-part documentary series about basically a miscarriage of justice followed by a miscarriage of justice.
Suitable way to start 2016.
Yes, indeed. It tells a story of... I completely forget his name.
Michael, someone who killed someone.
That's the one. Or did he?
Did he?
Yes.
No, I think before we go any further again, we probably should say that, you know, we are reviewing virtually a whole year here.
Yes.
And as
other
listeners will know, Graham and I are very much ones for doing it on the fly.
Yes.
And, you know, flying by the seat of our pants. So there'll be some shit here that I know there's going to be films we talk about here that I saw and that I probably absolutely loved. I do actually know that there's one film on here that I know I said I loved, and now I'm not so fucking sure. But yes, Making a Murderer.
Making a Murderer tells a story of this guy, and it begins with him being released from prison where he was serving time for a rape, and DNA evidence came to light that proved that he didn't do it, and he was released, and he then became a figurehead for miscarriages of justice and was a great embarrassment to the police, so that when a murder was committed, it was somebody that he knew, and it was committed sort of in his local area. The police immediately went for him.
Yeah.
And it has to be said, just compiled the biggest load of shit in terms of evidence against the man. So flawed. I mean, 2 police officers who were part of the investigation first time around and who were really made to look stupid when he was cleared, they were investigating this, and one of them wasn't even in the local area and shouldn't have been part of it, and he was the one who found a very key piece of evidence. And it goes through telling how the police put the case together, how the witnesses were got together. If I have one criticism on it, I would say it probably focused...
Not enough sex?
That's my criticism of most things including my life.
Yeah. Dear, laying in the gutter shooting for the stars.
Absolutely. It probably focused a bit too much on the intricacies of the court hearing.
Yeah.
Probably episodes 6 to 9 were all about the court hearings. And the thing
how many episodes did it run for?
10
it was 10 in total, wasn't it? Yeah.
And what happened as well is that this guy's nephew got pulled into it as well, because who was sort of a bit educationally subnormal or you know, whatever the right on way of saying it these days.
Slow?
That'll do.
I mean, and I'm genuinely not trying to be funny there. I don't know what the fucking PC term is anymore for someone who is a little bit slow or a bit. But I mean, very sad.
He sort of initially tried to point the finger, but then the police very cleverly manipulated him and put words in his mouth that he ended up confessing.
Yeah. I think that in actual fact is probably the most harrowing part of the entire show.
Just absolutely disgraceful how the police handled that, and obviously we see video footage of the interviews and them literally spoon feeding him the confession and leading him round. I mean, probably
I had a similar thing when I was 18 with Lloyd's Bank, and they talked me into taking a £20,000 loan.
Yes. But yeah, probably the worst I've seen since the West Memphis 3.
Yes,
which
was brilliant as
and
well.
You see some of theirs. It was the Miss Kelly guy, wasn't it? And you see how the police led him from saying it happened at 8 o'clock. No, it was 6 o'clock. No, and just led him backwards into the story they wanted. That guy, the nephew, was eventually released, wasn't he?
Not so long ago, in fact.
In August, I think it was, due to a lot of the evidence that had obviously been brought up as part of this documentary.
But obviously, as well, if you didn't see this documentary, bear in mind that this did all take place previous to 2016. It was over the course of God knows how many years. It was
several years.
Very, very cleverly filmed and very, very cleverly put together by a team of guys who obviously saw this case when it had come up initially and thought, this needs to be followed.
Yeah.
Whether or not they had it in their mind to make it into a documentary as they did in the end, but at the start, I don't know. But thank God they did film it all.
Absolutely.
Because I think it was probably one of the most compelling pieces of television that I've seen in a hell of a long time.
Very much so, but frightening to see how the police can be manipulative like that, and but just blatantly so.
And thinking about it, that started in January. That wasn't a great way to start 2016.
Not really. Sort of the writing was a bit on the wall then, wasn't it?
It was. With that in mind, Let's move on to something else, because this is depressing me.
The next thing I've got on the list, which was out in January, was season 2 of Agent Carter. Now, I know this is something you didn't watch, and
I did look at the posters.
Well done, you.
Thanks.
And I actually poo-pooed the first season. Started watching the first 3 episodes and thought, nah, not for me. And I think said so on the podcast as well. So season 2 was coming up, and they started re-showing season 1, and I sort of felt a bit bad because it struck me as being one of those programs that I was always watching while I was doing something else. I was either on the laptop and it was on because I never felt that invested in it. So I thought, no, I'll give it a go. And do you know what? So I watched season 1 and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very good, and I'm glad I gave it a second chance.
Who is it who's playing Agent Carter again? I can never remember her name.
Hayley Atwell.
Hayley Atwell.
Yes.
One of ours.
Yes, indeed. She was very good, and I thought season 2 was very much the same. It was a really good storyline. The characters are very strong. She moved from New York to LA, and one of the other guys was over there with her, and it was sort of focused around a Hollywood actress and her husband, and how they were coming up with this.
So this is LA in the 40s, yeah?
Yes, okay. Yes. How they came up with this sort of a metal that could be used as an explosive device as well, and I really enjoyed it. Glad that I gave it a second chance. Obviously, I'm giving all the Marvel and DC shows a good go, and it was a shame because it then subsequently got cancelled. So
yeah, I think I had a bit of a sixth sense that it probably would get cancelled, because I just didn't think the audience was there for it, to be honest. I mean, I would normally jump on anything that's kind of comic booky, but I have absolutely no interest in Agent Peggy Carter.
Yeah,
I genuinely don't. I mean, I think she's an important character, of course she is, but does she really need a whole show on her own? I mean, how did the show hold up not having Captain America in it? Is he in it?
Well, no, because obviously he had died.
Of course,
he was in the ice, so that was part of it. It was her dealing with her grief over the loss of Steve Rogers.
Is Howard Stark in it?
Howard Stark was in it a lot, yes.
Played by...
In LA, she lived with Howard Stark, played by Jesse Custer.
Wonderful. That's all I need to know. That's good then. That's quite nice. Dominic,
yes.
Dominic
Cooper.
Thank you. Not Gleason.
No, Dominic Cooper.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, and he was very good, and the guy who played her butler as well.
Alright, so for the other people out there in the world like me who didn't watch Agent Carter, if I wanted to watch these 2 seasons, is it a kind of a finished product? Has it got a beginning, middle and end?
Absolutely. It doesn't rely on anything else apart from you having the knowledge of her.
Do they leave it in a good place for your final episode, or do you think they left it in a place where they thought we might get a 3rd season?
There's clearly something that could have been
spun out.
Yes, because one of the main characters right at the end, who's been throughout all 2 seasons, who is kind of the good bad guy or the bad good guy. He works for the organisation that Peggy works for, but he was her boss and he was a shitheel, and at one point you weren't sure if he was working for the bad guys, and so he was always the prick, and it ends with him being shot by an unknown assailant.
Ooh.
And therefore that was obviously meant to lead into something else.
So do any other comic book characters show up that I would recognise, or that other casual comic book fans would recognise?
Not that I can think of, no.
Right, move on.
Cool. Right, the next thing we had is the movie Deadpool.
Deadpool?
Yes.
Deadpool. Did I see Deadpool? I did see Deadpool.
You saw Deadpool?
I saw Deadpool. In fact, Deadpool is the film that I've seen the most in 2016. I've seen Deadpool now in total probably about 11 or 12 times. Now, I know you are not a Deadpool fan.
I hate Deadpool.
You fucking despise Deadpool. Why is that? Is it just because he's a rip-off of Spider-Man?
Yes. When he initially came on, I thought, you look at his costume, you look at his behaviour, his wisecracking, he's very much a Spider-Man clone, and I think the 2 guys who created him, Fabian Nicieza and Rob Liefeld, have both sort of said, that not only stylistically look-wise, but also behaviour-wise, he was very much modelled on Spider-Man. Obviously then very much developed a personality of his own. I've never liked the whole fourth wall thing. I've sort of never liked...
Even when Ferris Bueller does it?
The murk with the mouth. No, I mean him doing that within the comics. I've only seen that done once before in the comics, and that was John Byrne's She-Hulk, and even though that worked better, I still felt that, it's a bit of a one-trick pony.
Would it be fair to say that you, as a comic book reader, do not feel that the fourth wall break has a place in comics that you want to read?
No.
Okay. So with that, what did you think of the film adaptation starring the delectable Ryan Reynolds?
Well, as I said to you before, I had no intention of watching this, and I only watched it very recently.
Man, I'm just going to stop you there. It's not that you had no intention of watching. You staunchly said,
absolutely,
I am not fucking watching this shit.
I will never watch this.
I will never fucking watch this. And you've can we just check? You've watched this specifically for this podcast,
absolutely,
haven't you?
yes, I have.
See, people, we don't get paid for this.
Dedication.
Dead-if-fucking-cation.
Yeah. So, as I said, really didn't expect too much of it, but if I'm completely honest, and obviously for the purpose of this, I have to be, I have to admit that I couldn't have been more right. I fucking hated it.
It's a shame the mic can't pick up a silent laugh. Well, that is a letdown, isn't it, ladies and gents? So it's just you in 2016 that didn't like Deadpool.
Yes, indeed.
What was it? What's not to like? I just thought it was
the
marvellous.
moment it started. There was a bit at the beginning where he sort of looks at the time and he's got like a Mickey Mouse watch or something stupid like that.
He has,
and,
yeah.
And it's sort of
Is
things
it a
like
Mickey Mouse watch?
that annoyed me.
No, it's an Adventure Time watch he's got.
I also didn't like the opening titles. You know, it's obviously supposed to be daft and breaking the rules and aren't we clever by describing people as the actors rather than the names of the actors. And
God's Perfect Idiot. I think
yeah,
was Ryan
and I just thought, oh god, you know what? Just to me, it's trying too hard. It's trying too hard to say, oh, aren't we wacky and aren't we different and aren't we clever and aren't we breaking all the rules? And I just feel like going, yeah, okay, fuck off, you know.
Do you know the funny thing is, I think the complete opposite. I don't think it was even trying.
Yeah,
I think it just is that.
But again, I think this is based on our expectations. I went into
but bear in mind as well that I wasn't a Deadpool fan until, and I wouldn't even kind of consider myself a Deadpool fan.
Really?
I wouldn't even consider myself a Deadpool fan up until we went to the last con.
Right.
And I picked out the two graphic novels, I think, which was one was Night of the Living Deadpool, and I can't remember what the other one is.
Well, you've seen my reaction to people walking around the con in
Yeah.
the fucking multitude of Deadpool costumes.
I've always been
It pisses
intrigued.
me off.
I've always been intrigued by the character because I've never known anything about it, and I must admit I find it quite refreshing.
Right.
I mean, but regardless of the comic, the film as a film itself, I thought it was 100% accessible to people who are not comic book fans. I thought it was 100% hilariously funny, and I thought Ryan Reynolds did an amazingly good job, given the fact that character, you could really fuck it up.
Now, you see, the funny thing is, I like Ryan Reynolds.
I do. I've got a lot of time for him.
And
Even Van Wilder.
I think, him playing this role, I will go as far as to take my hat off him to say he's a Hollywood actor who doesn't take himself too seriously, and you need that. You need somebody like that to play this role.
Well, in fact, the film wouldn't have got made if it wasn't for him, because he leaked the footage, didn't he?
I don't know if you've seen the clip online about him being interviewed by his so-called twin brother.
Yes, I have.
And you need to be somebody
Brian
who
Reynolds?
really doesn't take themselves seriously to pull off something like that. But just as it went through, I mean, the moment he first turned and spoke to the camera, I'd almost forgotten about the fourth wall thing, and the moment he turned around and spoke to the camera, it's just like, oh, fuck it, hell. But I mean, the one thing that I would say I didn't hate about it was the pre-Deadpool bit, sort of the Wade Wilson and his
Wade Wilson in the the pizza dude and
relationship.
Yeah,
I
brilliantly written.
I felt his justification for being Deadpool was actually quite well done.
It's essentially a love film. It's a love story.
I know, precisely. Yeah. And that bit I kind of bought into, but it was just everything in the Deadpool suit. And again, sorry, one thing that I should point out is these reviews are going to be very spoiler heavy, so we're going to talk plot points, so we should have made that clear at the start.
Yeah.
The bit at the end when he's got the gun and Colossus starts doing the speech about da-da-da, and you just know
it only takes one moment, Wade.
Precisely. And you just know he's going to pull the trigger.
Well, of course you know he's going to pull the trigger.
But it's like, but so what? So therefore, why do it? To me, that is just route one. But then for Colossus, an X-Man who is going to have seen an awful lot of shit just by seeing somebody get shot in the head, to be throwing his guts up, just stupid, just ridiculous, and I hated it.
I think we knew that we were going to disagree on this one anyway.
Of course.
I just thought it was a celebration of everything good about cinema I genuinely did. I thought it was such a one... And I have seen it about 11 times. I've watched it. I find this is the adult version of one of those films you have when you're a kid on VHS that you always watch. You know, are you going to go and watch your film again? You know, you always watch, like, fucking for me when I was little, I think it was The Secret of Nim, or whatever it was called. Is it Secret of Nim?
Yes, yeah.
Used to watch it fucking endlessly. Could watch it back to back, and I could do that with Deadpool because I just find it very, very funny. But touching on what you said about it being a love story, there's one moment with them two, with him and her name escapes me, as a lot of the information regarding the films that we're going to talk about today is going to escape me. They are.
You've only seen it 11 times. Why would you remember anything?
Well, I don't remember anything about who's in it. But when they're chatting in the bar, and they just have that little exchange, the little one-upmanship exchange. I just think it's so brilliantly written, and I think their love affair is brilliantly written. And I think the scene with the calendar girl scene, the 12 kind of months of the year calendar thing, is brilliant.
I've actually written that down. Calendar sex. Hated that.
I loved it.
Calendar sex. Rubbish.
The scene when she is about to fuck him with the strap on is genius. I think it's
One
so funny.
bit in it made me laugh.
Go on.
And that's the bit where she's sitting down and she says something shitty to him and he walks past her and farts and says...
#drive-by.
Drive-by. The old blind Chinese
blind
black woman. Sorry.
Blind owl, is it?
Yeah.
Owl.
So, yes. Yeah.
Did you pick up on the line he says to her before he goes out as well? He's like, I love you with all my heart, and somewhere in this flat there's like 10 keys of cocaine and the cure for blindness. Bye! That's fucking brilliant. That's genius.
Yeah.
What about the tiny hand? The tiny hand. Oh my god, I'm going to look so big in this. That's brilliant. Well, that's score 1 for Deadpool, everyone. Deadpool, there, as you heard, both of us absolutely loved it.
Yes, indeed.
There you go.
Go
on then. I'll stop your suffering because I know you don't want to talk about it anymore. But needless to say, I did love it.
Good.
And I must say, well done, mate, for watching it. Well done.
I was never going to be the audience for this.
5 years ago, you wouldn't have watched that.
No.
This is for you lot. Pricks.
Yes, I suffered for my art.
Well done.
I almost texted you to say I took one for the team. I feel like I've just chugged down a massive cock.
But I would have read that and just gone, same old.
Indeed.
Yes. Oh, it's a Tuesday.
Yes. Yeah. And then I'll have sent you a picture of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big, hearty black one with white balls. Right, go on. What else came out?
Next
on the list. What cheered you up?
We had, well, this one definitely cheered me up. Daredevil Season 2.
Did I watch Daredevil Season 2? Yes, I did.
You did watch Daredevil Season 2.
Well, what can you say? I mean, if you love Daredevil Season 1,
yeah,
which I think you did,
yeah, of course
I'm pretty sure I did. In fact, I fucking know I did. I think we were going into this with really high expectations, weren't we?
And then you throw in The Punisher.
Yeah. And now for me, that was the thing that was going to make or break it.
Yeah.
Because we've had now, John Bernthal, Ray Stevens, and 2 others. Thomas Jane, Dolph Lundgren have been our live-action Punishers. I tell you what, John Bernthal's definitely the best Punisher I've ever seen.
Absolutely, yeah.
In a live-action presentation, he fucking blew me away.
It's great, wasn't he?
What a show! What a show! In fact, so much so, I'll tell you what, that's going on my Christmas list to watch again. I'm going to start watching Season 2 again because it was that good. Didn't think they would be able to top the hallway fight scene in the first season.
But the stairway scene of them going down the stairs.
Not only that, but I mean, again, we're probably going to say this before we speak about anything here, but spoilers. But the Punisher taking the guys out in the prison.
In the prison, yeah, prison.
They were genuinely
the Kingpin wanted him gone. Yeah,
there was the Kingpin fight as well. There were so many kind of jaw drop, aghast moments, weren't there?
Yeah,
there really, really were. And I thought it was smartly written. I thought it was brilliantly played. If I had to have one little bugbear with it, I could have done without Elektra.
Yes, she was probably the disappointment. There were some bits that I thought were really well done with her, but on the whole, I didn't buy the relationship between her and Matt.
No.
I don't see why Matt would have fallen for her in the way that he did.
No.
I didn't buy that.
No, she was definitely the weak link in the entire show. But to have a show as strong as that, only have the 1 weak link.
Yeah.
has not destroyed it in any way whatsoever.
I
know a lot of people griped about the last couple of episodes, and a lot of people griped about, how they're going to tie that up, how they're going to do this, and it's
I like the ending.
I like the ending. I thought the ending was
superb,
absolutely brilliant. It's like, we've got that to come then.
Yeah,
fucking excellent. So yeah, on the whole, Deadpool,
shut up,
Daredevil Pool. Hopefully they'll do a Deadpool TV show. I mean, that'd be good, wouldn't it?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I loved it. I did love Daredevil season 2.
Me too. Very, very good. Looking forward to more.
So I know probably some people listening will be wondering what happened to the monkey farm and why we're not doing any sort of monkey farm in this episode. And obviously it's because it's a review of the year, but also as well, the monkey farm sadly burnt down in 2016.
What?
I know. But don't worry, I'm going to rebuild it for 2017.
Good.
And it's going to be even better. It's going to have all the best things, all the best words I've been learning from Trump over the past few months, and I'm just basically
make the monkey farm great again.
I'm going to make the monkey farm great again. You literally were inside my head then. That was scary, and people can't see this obviously because this is audio. But Graham and I are now sitting. We were mirroring each other then.
Oh, yeah.
He's got his hand kind of on his cheek, and my hand is on my cheek. Facial cheeks as well, not bum cheeks. I can actually move my hand now as well. But I just wanted to basically reassure people that the monkey farm will be rebuilt.
Of course.
Stronger, bigger,
stronger,
more
faster.
monkier.
Yeah, monkier. Excellent.
Well, never mind that. Anyway, what else fucking happened in 2016?
Next up, we had Batman versus Superman.
Yeah, but what else happened in 2016? Can we not talk about something else?
No, we got to do it, I'm afraid. We gotta do it.
Well, look, first off, there was not a hint of throughout the entire fucking film, was there? I think you can probably tell already that me, not so much of a fan.
You're not likey.
I was gutted.
Now, this one we had a long telephone conversation about, didn't we?
We did.
A long.
It was nigh on 2 hours, I think, our telephone conversation about this, my friend. It could have been this could have been, a 3-episode review.
Yes, just of this. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
But we were so let down with the world that we didn't bother.
Yeah, it was just a hard watch, wasn't it?
Let's take it from the beginning. Okay. So it opens with... remind me what it opens with. It opens with I can tell you what it opens with.
I don't want to relive it.
Well, you're going to fucking have to. Because if we're going to talk about it, you're going to have to talk about it properly. It opens again with fucking Bruce Wayne's parents dying, does it not?
It does.
We know they're dead.
Yes.
We don't need to know again.
It's the origin that will never die.
Literally. Also, how the fuck did he get his gun in between her pearl necklace? That's not a sexy thing I'm saying here, but
he's a weapon.
He kind of hooks his gun and it goes up under a necklace, and then he fires the gun and all the no, fuck that. Yeah. Who was playing his dad? It was
Maggie and Negan.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah. It was Jeffrey Dean Morgan and her
Laura Cohen,
who I absolutely adore. Lauren Cohen. I didn't realise she was English. Or Scottish, in fact. Sorry.
Okay.
Bit of a crush on her. We'll talk about that later because that's going to come up. It's all going to come up. But yeah, so first off, we started off with another fucking kind of death scene of the Waynes, Thomas and Martha Wayne. Then followed by what I can only describe as some sort of bat levitation.
Oh, that was weird, wasn't it? Yeah. Now, had it not revealed that to be a dream, at that point I was just like, oh, what the fuck have they done?
I mean, for a couple of seconds in the cinema, I kind of went...
Yeah.
Because I thought I was asleep, and then I'd woken up and oh, right.
Yeah,
okay.
It was like, what the fuck is going on? Yes.
Do you know what? I think probably it'd be quicker for me to pick out the bits that I did like rather than the bits that I didn't.
Well, you mention the bits you did like, and I'll mention the bits I didn't.
Alright, for me, the Affleck. I thought the Affleck was a very good Bat.
He was very good.
I thought he...
as a drunken, older, damaged Batman.
Yeah.
Who'd obviously lost to Robin.
Yes, very much so. I thought he looked good. He built himself up. You know, I mean, he's a really big chap anyway, Ben Affleck, isn't he? He's no slouch, but he's got the physique for an older, more grizzled Batman.
Yeah.
I really like the suit. I love that bat symbol, that the very Frank Miller style bat symbol. I love the fight scene he has in the, should we call it a warehouse? When he's on a rescue mission, because I think that's very, very Bat. Other than that, I don't think there was anything else about that film that I liked.
That you liked, okay.
I'll give Jeremy Irons a little bit of a doff of the cap, because I quite liked him doing the testing the voice changer.
Modulator, yeah.
But I can't remember the phrase he says, but the phrase is very cool. It's something about Battenberg cake or something like that. It's something very cool. Other than that, I thought it was absolute fucking tripe.
It was terrible, wasn't it? I mean...
Not even the extended edition could say that.
I mean, Jesse Eisenberg. What the fuck?
Yeah, and it's a shame because I like him.
I know. I do like him as an actor.
And I don't dislike him after that.
But him as Lex Luthor... It was just bizarre. I mean, you know, the trouble is he played him as a nutcase.
Well, he played him as the Joker.
Yes, absolutely. And, you know, the idea of Lex Luthor is he's this suave, controlled businessman publicly, but this sort of, you know, maniacal sociopath, you know, behind the scenes. But yet, all his maniacal sociopath stuff was right out there on Front Street.
It was like the Joker had fucked Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah. Now... I'm only guessing that it's been so long since you've seen this that you've forgotten the other thing you liked about it, and that was fucking Wonder Woman. How can you not?
Because I was going to bring that up at the end.
No, sorry, you said, and all the stuff I like, and that's it. You can't bring.
I was going to bring it up at the end. No, you're right. Actually, she was very good as Wonder Woman.
She was immense.
But too, I liked more than Wonder Woman.
Go on.
I liked Wonder Woman's score.
Right. Yes.
Yes.
Very good.
No, that was awesome. I mean, the score in general was very good, in fact. It was Junkie XL and someone else of note.
Right.
The score was brilliant.
But another thing that I thought was absolute tosh, just sort of underused, but so badly used, was Amy Adams as Lois Lane. I mean,
yeah.
The scene...
In fact, they made her completely and utterly thick as shit.
The scene when she's in the bath and Clark's there and they sort of have the scene and then he ends up in the bath. It was just... toe-curlingly embarrassing. Just horribly embarrassing.
As toe-curlingly embarrassing as the fact that shortly after that, or shortly before that, I can't remember the order of which it comes in the film, they literally introduce and dispatch Jimmy Olsen within 3 minutes. Jimmy Olsen is now a CIA agent. Apparently, in Zack Snyder's world. Yeah. Not a child photographer.
I wonder where you were going with that one then.
I nearly said child pornographer.
The next thing I hated was, if Batman has a motto, what is it?
Well, I would hope that everyone knows that the Bat don't kill.
No guns.
No guns.
No fucking
no guns whatsoever.
Apparently in this film, it doesn't have the slogan no guns.
Lots of guns. We also doesn't have the slogan no killing.
Absolutely.
Because there's a lot of death. Probably the most death I've ever seen in anything.
Killing by Batman.
Yeah,
guns.
The most death I've ever seen at any one point from a Batman movie. The only time it was acceptable for him to be holding the gun was that moment where he's up on the big tower thing and it's supposed to be kind of that little callback to the thing from Dark Knight Returns.
Right.
With him with the sniper rifle.
Another thing that didn't make sense to me was, at the end of it, when they're fighting Doomsday.
Was Doomsday in it?
Doomsday was.
I thought that was an orc, wasn't it?
You've got 3 heroes fighting Doomsday, okay? They realise that the way that they can kill Doomsday is with the kryptonite spear that they have.
Yes.
Okay. Batman obviously isn't physically strong enough to be able to get there and deliver it. So they decide it's going to be Superman. Superman is obviously also affected by kryptonite.
I thought you were going to say allergic then.
It can kill him. So why didn't they have Wonder Woman do it?
Yeah.
Wonder Woman had exactly the same powers as Superman, and therefore Wonder Woman could have easily have gone there and dispatched him, and we wouldn't have had, spoilers, Superman die at the end. Utterly ridiculous. You've got 3 very intelligent people fighting, and they say, let's give the guy the weapon to kill the bad guy with that could also kill the good guy. No, give it a fucking Wonder Woman.
I mean,
ridiculous.
just going back to that, the spear thing. I mean, Amy Adams, Lois Lane, she throws the spear down a well, doesn't she? Mm. And then Soups has fucked off somewhere and he comes back and he's like, have you guys got the spear? Did you retrieve the spear? He didn't even know it was down there.
Yeah.
Not at any point in the film is he told that's been kind of put down there.
Yeah.
Also as well, by killing off Superman in this film, they've just thrown away what should be one of cinema's biggest moments, I think. Because you didn't get that whole big amazing funeral, you didn't get the... I just think it was a waste.
Yeah,
it's almost like Zack Snyder kind of went, I've got to get all this shit in here now because after these people see this, they're not going to hire me anymore. And I think, slowly but surely, he is being edged out of the filmic kind of side of DC, isn't he?
And I'm getting quite upset talking about this, so I'd like to end it here with just saying the one last thing I hate about it, which is Martha. Why did you say that name? Why did you say that name?
The whole film
hinges
on the fact that their mums have got the same name.
Their mums are both called Martha.
But
utterly ridiculous.
But were you like me? Did you ever pick up on the fact that their mums did have the same name? Because I'd never kind of put that together.
Really?
I'd never bothered to take notice, because I think probably because Superman, his mother and father have kind of always been alive in the comics that I've read of him, whereas, as we well know, thanks again to Batman v Superman, Thomas and Martha Wayne died at the beginning of every fucking Batman film.
Just fucking ridiculous.
To have your whole film's conceit. I mean, to call a film Batman v Superman and to have the fight last 15 minutes not really even be that good, and then to have it finish because their mums' names are both the same, is the equivalent of me and you going and having a scrap in the park and waiting for one of our mums to call us in for dinner.
Absolutely.
It's fucking stupid.
Ridiculous.
Fuck that shit. What came next?
Next, well, we've gone from a low to a high. Captain America Civil War.
Now that is a bit of me.
That was a film.
That was a film.
That was a movie.
It was a film and a half.
Yes.
Was that? Where to start with Civil War? Now, you don't like Civil War, do you?
The comic series, no. But then this movie had little or no bearing on the comic series at all. It was a completely different setup. So,
still kind of pitting two groups of good guys against one another,
absolutely.
But in a different, in a different,
but
very,
nothing
very
to
different
do with
setup.
the Superhero Registration Act, and
also as well, I imagine by some small degree, the fact that they wouldn't have had license to use certain characters, because obviously Fantastic Four are owned by Fox, because they play a huge part in the book, don't they?
Yeah.
But yeah, on the whole though, what a film!
It was great.
What a great film! And of course, we get our first look at your boy,
Tom Hollander's Spider-Man, which is which was fantastic.
He's very good, isn't he?
He just made it, But then, Ant-Man being in it made it as well.
Yeah.
They brought in so many good characters. This store that they've been building up, they just pulled it all in, and I thought it was fantastic. I mean,
whilst I didn't think it was as good as Winter Soldier.
It was different, because Winter Soldier was almost like an espionage film.
It's all the President's Men with Marvel characters,
yeah,
wasn't it?
Precisely. This was a very different beast.
Yeah.
And what I liked about this one was the subtlety that was kind of lost in all the battling, was the fact that what we thought it was about was a complete red herring. We always thought that it was about, the other Winter Soldiers, and when they go there and find they've all been shot and they've all been stitched up, and it's actually Baron Zemo. It was
Baron Zemo,
yeah, who has basically just been playing both sides against the middle, and is actually saying, look, this guy knows that guy killed your parents, because of course Winter Soldier was the one who killed Tony Stark's parents.
Which I know a lot of people, when I read reviews, after the fact, a lot of people didn't like that. They felt that it wasn't enough of a reason behind this whole big thing. But for me, I thought this, because it was such a simple revenge
precisely
plot, that made it,
and it was
bigger to me.
And it was a film where we're always used to these superhero films where a big bad comes along and they fight the big bad and the good guys win and everybody goes home happy.
Yeah.
In this one, the bad guy won.
Yeah.
His whole job was, and let's face it, the reason he was going after him was his family had been killed in wherever it was that got blown up in the second Avengers film.
I can't remember the name of the place.
I can't remember the name of the place.
They dropped the shit out of the scale.
And so he just wanted to tear them apart, and he did. He tore the Avengers asunder, and I thought that was fucking amazing. And it was, for a film that was all about superheroes fighting each other, just a really, as you say, a really simple, subtle premise.
I think
that got all that done. It was amazing.
I think I genuinely don't want to go on and repeat the same point again. But the fact that he could take these superpowered beings and not have to have any sort of superpower himself to take them down. He's just done it mentally. He's just done it by basically stabbing them in the heart. Yeah. And that to me made the film 110% more humanistic, and a much more enjoyable film than many other superhero flicks I've seen in the past. And it will be a theme that will run throughout a lot of the films that we'll probably talk about today. The whole good guy, bad guy, bang, 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 end of the film. This wasn't that.
No.
This had good set pieces. This, of course, had the introduction, as we said earlier, of our new Spidey. And I think standout for me was I really liked Black Panther.
Yes,
I thought he was very, very cool.
Yes.
And I thought the character was going to mean nothing to me and be very boring.
I'm not a great fan of the Black Panther. I thought he was handled superbly. I thought, the motivations there and him in costume was fantastic. And
I genuinely thought for a second then you said Mr. Motivator was there, all in costume, and I was like, was he in it? No, he wasn't in it. But I could have missed it. What was the Stan Lee cameo? Because I don't recall what it was. Pretty sure it was a Genius one.
Can't remember.
Was it not?
I don't remember.
Tony Stank?
Possibly.
It is.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Yes.
It's a genius one.
Yes.
It's a very, very genius one. But yeah, on the whole, Civil War was a massive, massive triumph. And I think one of the best movies of 2016 for me.
Absolutely.
For me, definitely.
Without a doubt. Next up, it's a biggie. The Walking Dead. Obviously,
which interestingly, I've just looked on my list and I've written Walk in Dead. There you go.
But wipe your feet afterwards.
Yes, please do.
Yeah, obviously not only did we have the last part of the previous series at the start of the year, but we've had the first part of season 7.
Season 7.
Yes.
So we finished off season 6 with finally after a long wait getting to meet Negan.
Yes.
Or the head Negan.
Yes,
I suppose you would call him.
Or Negan. Yeah.
And season 7 started off.
But of course, what it gave us was the ultimate in cliffhangers, where somebody got taken out by Lucille, the barbed wire wrapped bat,
Indeed.
but we didn't know who it was because we only saw it from their POV, and so that left about 5 months of speculation everywhere about who it was going to be.
And may I say, some absolutely brilliant YouTube fakes of who did and didn't get killed. Although they did film every one of them being killed, didn't they?
And then, yes, season 7 started, and obviously we found out the person whose POV we were seeing was...
Can't spoil that one.
No.
Fuck it was Glenn. He got fucking brain.
No, it wasn't Glenn.
And... why can't I remember his name?
The POV we saw was Abraham.
Abraham, yeah. I'm so excited just to spoil it for people.
Who obviously just did the old suck my nuts line.
Suck my nuts. Which was brilliant. And as I pointed out to you as well, I have rewatched it again. He does the little peace symbol to Sasha, which fucking broke my heart.
But of course, there we are thinking, oh, it was Abraham. Then you've got a whole bit where Negan takes Rick off to try and break him. And,
that's right, yes.
And then, and they kept sort of flashing backwards and forwards from the next day to the previous night. And then you just had the fucking line that was just blew everybody's mind, which is back to it. When he went back to it.
But why did he do that? But why did he? He did that because
Daryl punched him.
Because Daryl had been a prick.
Yes.
Because he's a dirty, pikey biker.
And so yeah, he just took out Glenn.
My God, did he ever? And
the housewife's favourite.
The effects were amazing, weren't they?
Well, I tell you what, to me, the worst bit, and I mean, I was on Facebook saying it was one of the most gut-wrenching, heartbreaking, and yet unmissable bits of television that I'd seen in a long, long time. To me, the worst bit was obviously him delivering the line to Maggie when his eyes out, and of course Negan's going, "Oh my God,
you look disgusting." Yeah.
But the worst bit was after Glenn had his head caved in, he's lying there, but his arm was still twitching. It was just sort of above the neck was brains, and it was just fucking hell.
Just the nerve endings going.
Unbelievable.
I think Jeffrey Dean Morgan deserves massive kudos for this part. Now, I can't say I've read his parts in the comics because I don't think my collection of Walking Dead books don't go that far. I don't think. I know he's been a character that people have absolutely adored and have spoken about a lot. So I can't compare him to his comic book counterpart. But from what I've read, he's done a pretty damn good job. From a viewer's point of view, I don't think you could want for a better bad guy, could you?
I mean, he has basically. He just owns the show now.
I am so scared of him.
For somebody who's come in so recently and the show now, sort of since that first episode, and a lot of people complain because I think that first episode was so emotional that the next 2 or 3 ones, because they sort of wanted to bring it down and show you where the other characters were and show you what was happening in the kingdom and show you what was happening on the hilltop. that people were saying, oh my god, this has suddenly got really boring. But it's no, we kind of needed that. After that, we just needed the sorbet of just to clear the palate. But then episode 4, he was back, and of course there was that amazing scene to show how broken Rick was when they go into the armory and everybody sort of walks in and Rick and Negan are left stood, and of course Regan's got
Nick is holding
Rick is carrying Lucille.
Regan and Lucille are carrying Legan. Yeah.
So Rick's carrying Lucille, and then Negan just turns away and walks away from him, and of course you're going, fucking hit him with it, and he doesn't.
But he doesn't because he knows that if he causes any trouble, he's going to kill everyone.
More people will die, and he takes responsibility for that.
I mean, season 7 thus far for me has been pretty triumphant, bar one episode.
Go on.
And that was the episode with, I can't remember the character's name because I find her so uninteresting. She's the lesbian girl whose girlfriend took the arrow in the eye.
I want to say Tanya.
I think it is Tanya. It was basically about her finding the all female tribe, camp, whatever you want to call it, village. And I just thought it was so misplaced. I think it should have been put earlier on in the season, purely for the fact that it just didn't sit right. It didn't feel like it was in the right place.
The only thing that I got from that episode was those women shot like stormtroopers, didn't they? There was about 20 of them running after with guns, and not one of them got a bullet within 2 feet of her.
They were rubbish. I think even the little girl with the gun pointed straight in her face probably would have missed.
Yes, indeed.
So yeah, that was a little bit of a letdown. But other than that, I think the season thus far has been pretty damn good. I thought the final episode was really good.
I agree.
Really, really good. Again, massive spoilers, but him taking out what's his bollocks? I think his son.
Yes.
I guess because we both watch so many things. There's so many characters to remember.
Yeah, you just lose the names.
I mean, fans of The Walking Dead will know what we're talking about, and those of you who aren't, you've had it spoilt now. But him when he basically gets gutted, doesn't he, in front of a pool table outside.
Because he actually says to him, you know your problem, you got no guts, and then just takes him, and then she goes, oh my god, you had, look, they're there all the time.
I was completely wrong. I owe an apology, I was completely wrong. You're full of guts. Which I think appears to be Negan's kind of little, is it raison d'etre? Would that be, is that the right word to use? His thing, his kind of kink is to kind of kill people, yet give a really evil one-liner as he's doing so.
He's the Freddy Krueger of the Walking Dead world.
Perfect. Yeah, I could not have described him any better.
Kill and quip.
Yes, kill and quip indeed. Him iron burning the guy is really fucking hard to watch.
Yeah.
And I must admit, the episode that I found more gut wrenching, I think, than the opening episode was the Daryl episode.
What, just trying to break Daryl?
I thought that was horrible. I felt so claustrophobic watching. I am. When you are as well. You're very claustrophobic. I'm slightly claustrophobic. You can't even go in a lift, can you?
Yeah.
Or a tube train. And quite frankly, who'd want to, all these cunty Londoners? But yeah, no, I found that really, really hard to watch. It took me a couple of days, and I finally did get it out of my head. But the song that they were playing, I genuinely did stick in my head. It was getting a bit worrying because I just couldn't get it out of my head. But
you freak.
I know. But yes, we like the Walking Dead.
We do.
When are we back? February?
Definitely. Yes. It has definitely got its mojo back. And the last thing we wanted to talk about this episode.
Yes.
Which I'm sure we can skate over pretty quickly, was the spin-off Fear the Walking Dead.
Yeah, we can definitely skate over that pretty quickly.
Which we weren't great fans of the first season, the 6 episodes. I made it to the mid-season break of season 2 and just thought, do you know what, I'm done.
Tell me what more did they add to that absolute fucking dumpster fire of a TV show?
They went out on a boat. The big, the black guy,
the rich black guy,
who the druggie met.
Yeah.
He had a boat and he managed to get them on a boat, but then they just managed to keep fucking it up and stopping to pick people up who turned out to be evil and
pirates, and
going to a lighthouse where they tried to rescue the kids, and because the dad gave the daughter drugs and killed her, and they realised he was going to kill them. They tried to take the other kids, but the mum came after them with a shotgun and said give them back. And
sounds like Dynasty.
And so yeah, it's just so shit. It's just characters you hate, and just had no time for it at all. I literally made it 7 episodes into season 2 and thought, do you know what, I'm done. This is terrible.
See, I figured that out like episode 3 of the first season.
Yeah, but it's one of those things that because it's a spin-off of Walking Dead, you're kind of knowing how things are going to go, and therefore you're thinking, right, when's it going to get good? And You're just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and
anywhere up to the point that you watched, is there any reference to anyone from
no,
The Walking Dead?
No,
because I think their intention is the end of that show
right.
should be the beginning of The Walking Dead, shouldn't it?
Right.
I hope it dies a lot quicker.
But you know, obviously they're over on the west coast in fucking San Diego, which means for it to cross over, they've somehow got to get all the way across America to the south to get to Atlanta, which is Georgia anyway.
San Diego's got the massive zoo, isn't it, as well?
Yes,
the San Diego Zoo. So did we see any animals? Any escaped animals?
No. Well, like I say, most of it was spent on a boat.
So they didn't have to show animals, Graham. That's
but
why.
Even then, you would think, get out on a boat and you're going to be fine. And yet they managed just to make the most stupid decisions ever. It's just a bunch of unlikable idiots. A zombie show where you're rooting for the zombies.
Yeah, it didn't sit well with me. The only time you should ever root for the zombies is if you've got people like Captain Rhodes in front of you.
Indeed.
True zombie fans will know what I mean. There you go. Exactly.
We rooted for Bub.
Did we ever?
Yeah.
Not the Bub in the remake, though.
No.
The vegetarian zombie.
Right, well, that's it for this episode in terms of the TV and movie reviews. You, however, wanted to go through the video games.
I do, and this won't take long.
In 2016.
This genuinely won't take long because, much like the rest of 2016, my very good friend Graham,
it was shit.
It was fucking awful.
Was it?
It really was. You know how much of a big gamer I am. I said big gamer there. I love my games.
Big gay.
There's been a lot. There's been a lot that was supposed to be amazing coming out. You know, we had things like The Division, which is another Tom Clancy game. I mean, the Tom Clancy games now, there are so fucking many of them. This really was supposed to be groundbreaking, and it just couldn't have been anything more boring. It was probably the dullest game I've ever played.
Oh dear.
I'm very lucky in the respect that I still know a few people in the industry, and I can get certain promo copies of things. So had I have paid cash money for this game, I would have been so incredibly let down by it, and not just the mediocre letdown that I had from playing it for free. We also had things like Homefront, The Revolution come out as well, and the reason I'm picking up on these two particular titles is because there seems to be a theme that runs through gaming at the moment, and always has done. It's always been kind of like, you know, the big military power against the small military power. In the Homefront games, it's, you know, China invades America, and it's completely fucking unbelievable. You know, kind of like your Red Dawn kind of thing. Yeah. But the biggest thing really that happened for me in gaming this year, and I'm going to mention this first before I give you what my highlights of 2016 gaming was a little game called No Man's Sky. I don't know if you read anything about No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky was purported to be a game where you start off on a planet. You are stood next to your crashed ship, okay, and you have to collect certain items or elements, such as you have to mine certain rocks to get fuel in order to get this ship up and running. Then you can go and explore the rest of the universe. Mm-hmm. This was supposed to have something stupid like 800 million different planets in it. This was supposed to be a game that kind of would constantly evolve as you played it. It was supposed to be the first of its kind. In its early delivery, it's very good because you can take off from the planet you're on, and you actually get to fly the ship up out of the atmosphere, so you can see the planet. And this is all happening while you're playing. You can go into hyperspace, and you can go into hyperspeed and jump across galaxies into new star systems and things like that. You're supposed to be able to kind of bump into other players. It's supposed to be, you know, you might be on a planet and there'll be another guy there that's, you know, another online player. And so we were told. It all turned out after the day of release that not only could you not do half the things that they promised, but they'd actually lied. A huge cock of a lie.
Corporate lie.
Big lie. I mean, but not even that, because that's the thing about this game. And I'm glad you said that word, corporate. It couldn't have been anything more different. This was an indie game.
All right.
So it's by an indie games developer called Hello Games. Now they're in Guildford.
Hello Games.
Hello Games. Before this game was released, they were nearly a month and a half late in releasing it. Hello Games were getting death threats.
Oh, nice.
From, you know, people who wanted to play this game. It was at that point, Graham, that I kind of thought people were taking gaming a bit too seriously.
Just a tad.
And I got very disheartened with the whole gaming world. And as I've said before, I love gaming. You know I do. You can see my pile of games in front of you here. I
can. There is genuinely a big pile of games.
There is genuinely a big pile of games. Right next to the porn, in fact. It really did spell out to me this year that gaming now is that industry that finally has fallen into the we'll just release any old shit in order to make the money.
Right.
And it never used to be like that. It really didn't. And it quite choked me up a bit, because this is an art form that I genuinely feel should always be new and should always be fresh and should always be evolving, given the fact they've got this technology to play with. But if anything, it actually feels like it's going backwards. I'm not going to fucking just sit here and bemoan the gaming industry, because I think that'd be a waste of time. It's not going to get anywhere. I just wanted to get it off my chest.
Oh, bless you.
Because it is something that I love, and I hate to see people out there just doing it for the fucking money, which unfortunately they are. But I won't end there. I will end by telling you that there have been a couple of little successes this year. Uncharted 4 came out, and it was one of the most beautiful experiences I've had on a gaming console in quite some time. Saying that, the Uncharted games have never really let me down. It wasn't, however, my game of the year. Game of the year this year for me was Hitman. What a mind-blowingly beautiful version of Hitman. Now, not only did they do something very, very different and very, very brave, which could have completely backfired, but they also did something very, very strange. So firstly, they decided they were going to release each level as an episode, which I thought was wonderful. So each month, if you paid for the entire package, like the 40 quid got you the whole game. Again, I was very, very lucky. I got a promo copy of this, so I got a season pass. Each month you would get a new episode that was set in a completely different country, and it's delivered to you like a dossier of what you've got to do and who you've got to kill, how long you've got to do it, and blah blah blah. On top of that, which is the core game, every other week you would get what you would call I can't remember exactly how they word it, but it's a hit that you have to do, but you've only got a limited amount of time. Now, one of the hits was Gary Busey. It is such a brilliant, brilliant thing. The only unfortunate thing is I don't think you'll ever be able to play it again, because it was only ever up for 7 days. You had 7 days to kill Gary Busey. And Gary Busey is in it, and he's playing Gary Busey. And the whole setup is the fact that he's filming an advert, but he's gone a bit mad, so that the producers just want him taken out. And you have to follow him around, and I don't know what's more beautiful about it. The fact that they've chosen to have Gary Busey, or the fact that Gary Busey is allowing them to basically make fun of the Gary Busey that we all make fun of. He's now become less of an absolute maniacal idiot to me, and more of someone who doesn't mind taking a bit of taking the piss out of himself a bit. There were other things that got released this year, of course, and I know people listening to this who are into games are going, well, why don't you pick up on things like the Mario game that came out for the iPhone the other day, Scott? Why don't you pick up? I'll tell you why I didn't pick up on that, because it's $7.99, and all you do is push a button. One button. That's the only control you've got in the game. Jump. So I'm not going to pick up on things like that. I am, however, going to finish off by talking about PlayStation VR, of which I think I briefly spoke to you about, did I not?
I don't remember, but this is one thing that I was going to ask you about, what your experience of virtual reality was.
Do you know what? PlayStation VR to me is like 3D for films. I don't think it's got any place in gaming for me. Okay, I could not be any less interested in it. However, one of our friends, Mike, brought his VR setup over here, and we set it up in the living room, and we played a couple of little bits and bobs on it. Like there's a demo called Kitchen, where you are basically, it opens up and you are strapped to a kitchen chair in a dirty old kind of wooden style shack kitchen, like a cabin kind of affair. And you look round and you've got the headset on. You are in this kitchen. For all intent and purposes, you are in this kitchen. You've got a guy passed out on this only runs for 5 minutes, this demo, but it's fucking petrifying. This mad crazy chick runs out with a knife and she ends up stabbing you, and she's putting her hands on you, and it's fucking vibrating, and it's petrifying. We then played a couple of the little mini game things, and if anything, the only underlying feeling I got from PlayStation VR was that I wanted to vomit. But the coup de grace was most definitely being able to be Batman. I don't think I've ever been so close to tears in playing a computer game ever, and I genuinely had to take the headset off for a second and just kind of wipe my eyes, because it was quite breathtaking. You put this headset on, and this was actually just the opening menu that I got all fucking tearful on. It opens up and you are stood atop of Gotham City Police Department, and again, as I say, you can, in the real world, you can turn 360 degrees, and you're doing that in the game, and to the point where you can walk over to the edge of the kind of the roof of Gotham City Police Department, look over the edge, and at one point in the game you get to use this amazing back computer. You can You can throw batarangs and things like that, but you are actually physically doing it because you're holding the pad, the two what are they? I can't remember what they're called. The wands, we'll call them. God, I sound old, don't I? God, I remember when it was all Atari. Nothing you could see around here but fields and Ataris. But on the whole, PlayStation VR, apart from the Batman experience, really can just go fuck itself because it's pretty pointless.
Underwhelmed.
Wouldn't even kind of come into it. I wasn't even whelmed. But if anyone gets a chance to have a go on one of their mates' ones, make sure that they've got the Batman game. Because if you can be Batman for 15 minutes, be Batman for 15 minutes because it's quite a cool experience.
Be the Batman.
Always be yourself, but if you can be Batman, be Batman.
Cool.
That's all I got to say about gaming for 2016.
Cool. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Right, well that's it for the first part of our return and...
Our ranturn.
Yes, and our 2016 review. So until next time, for Geek-Minded Fools, I've been Graham.
And I've been Scott.
Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.